peace to all the people in the house. Well, you see the topic. What are you going to do? There's no escape, my people. It's either you expatriate or you play the game. You know, you can listen to a whole bunch of gurus. You can listen to all these live, everybody telling you this and telling you that. But the bottom line is you can only do what's right for you. So, what is right for you? My people in the house right now, gather in because, you know, this is a question of are you really ready? Because if you truly, really want to be free, I mean, totally free, my people, you have to expatriate the system. You have to stand before the consulate. And I think to stand before the consulate, it is, let's get that price right, my people. I think to stand in front of the consulate, it is, I think it's $2,000. How much is it to expatriate? So, expatriating, my people, renouncing your U.S. citizenship involves several financial and administrative steps. Here's the breakdown of the expected costs and potential taxes. Now, the State Department renunciation fee, you must pay the U.S. to renunciate, expatriate $2,350 at the U.S. Embassy or the consulate to process your renunciation and receive your certificate of loss of nationality. This fee is non refundable and applies universally. Although there's been talk of reducing the fee to $450, no concrete changes have been implemented as of mid 2025. The tax compliance and advisory fees, you must certify compliance with the U.S. tax laws for the 5 years prior to renunciation. This involves filing income tax returns, submitting FBAR, foreign assets reports, and completing IRS Form 8854. Many expatriates hire tax professional. Fees range typically from 2,000 to 5,000 depending on complexity. Some cases may require 5,000 to 20,000 in legal and tax advisory services, especially if you have a complex financial situation. Exit tax only for covered expatriates. You're classified as a covered expatriate and subject to an exit tax. If on the date of renunciation you had an average U.S. tax liability over 190,000 to 201,000, 22 to 2024 thresholds, or had a net worth exceeding US 2 million or failed to certify tax compliance for 5 years. This exit tax treats your worldwide assets as sold at fair market value the day before renunciation Unrealized gains above the annual exemption, about 890,000 in 2025, are taxed at capital gain rates up to 23.8%. Now, if your unrealized gains total 1.5 million, approximately 600K, would be taxable, assuming 900K exemption at capital gain rates. Other costs and consequences: embassy travel and scheduling. You must appear at least once. Often, one appointment is sufficient at a U.S. consulate abroad. Some report long wait times. Potential loss of U.S. benefits and privileges such as visa-free travel, voting rights, access to U.S. government assistance or consulate help, security clearance eligibility, and automatic citizenship for offspring. So all that you will lose when you expatriate. Expense category renunciation fee is $2,350. Tax and legal advisory services is anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000. Exit tax varies tax on gains above 890K. Travel appointment cost depends on your location and travel. Why the high costs? The U.S. created the current high renunciation fee 30 times other Western countries in 2014 to discourage citizenship loss. That's why it's so high, because they're taxing you to expatriate, because they know once you expatriate, now you can actually go and do some things. And you probably no longer can be stopped on the roads, because now you're legally have the documents of expatriation that you carry around in your vehicle that shows that you are no longer a true citizen. You have expatriated, you've given up all your citizenship rights, and now you have expatriated into either your own created state or another country. Regulatory burden under FATCA and dual tax reporting makes citizenship a long-term commitment, even for those living abroad. If you are a covered expatriate, the exit tax may greatly exceed the administrative and advisory costs combined. Even if not, professional help for tax and legal compliance is strongly recommended. Be aware, this decision is typically irreversible. Regaining U.S. citizenship requires reapplying like any foreign national. Okay, here we go. So, my people, you know, you have to really think hard about expatriation. You know, you know, you have to ask yourself, why do you want to expatriate? You know, they say, expatriation, especially renouncing U.S. citizenship, is a big decision. It is a big decision. People choose to expatriate for a variety of reasons, depending on their personal, financial, legal, or political situations. So, escape from the U.S. tax burden. The U.S. is one of the only countries that taxes its citizens no matter where they live. Citizenship is based taxation. Even if you live and work abroad, you may still have to file U.S. tax returns. Foreign assets must be reported. You know, some people renounce citizenship to escape this double reporting and complex tax system. A dual citizen Living in France gets taxed by both the US and France. Even with treaties, the paperwork is constant, so they renounce. Privacy and financial freedom, under FACTA, FATCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, U.S. citizens abroad must report foreign bank accounts. Many foreign banks refuse to work with U.S. citizens because of the paperwork and the risk involved. Some choose expatriation to open bank accounts freely, invest without U.S. restrictions, protect financial privacy. Personal and political beliefs, some people simply no longer identify with U.S. government, politics, or policies. Common reasons: discouragement of foreign policy, loss of trust in institutions, desire to be part of another culture or system. I've built a life elsewhere. I vote, pay taxes, and raise my family there. Why should I be tied to the US? Dual citizenship and simplifying life. If you already have citizenship in another country, expatriating may simplify legal and tax issues. Someone born in the US but raised in Canada may feel no connection to the US and sees renunciation as cutting red tape. Avoiding hefty U.S. estate taxes. U.S. estate taxes laws apply to global assets. Some wealthy individuals expatriate to avoid future estate inheritance taxes on their non US heirs. This can involve complicated trust and tax planning, especially for high net worth families. Loss of citizenship by accident or inheritance. Some accidental Americans born in the US while parents were traveling don't even realize they're citizens until hit with tax bills. They may renounce simply because they never wanted or used US citizenship. Reasons not to expatriate or be cautious. You may not be able to return freely to the US. You need a visa or a ESTA. You lose access to government protections, voting rights, Social Security, in some cases, and other benefits. Well, I mean, who cares about voting because your vote doesn't count here in the US anyway. They select who the fuck they want. And as for Social Security, what are you getting out of them anyway when the whole fucking Social Security Administration is changing as we speak, and you're only going to receive about what, 800 and something dollars or 1,000 something dollars if you're lucky. And if you're a veteran, you may get the 2,000 or 3,000, you know, and now you have to go under the radar to make any extra money. And basically, what they're getting ready to do is that you're going to have to not relinquish, but you're going to have to expose all your foreign accounts to the Social Security Administration now. So, you know, what is a U.S. citizenship for good for and good for nowadays? You know, because the government, it doesn't matter. They will they are only giving you a little bit of your treasury account. Your treasury account is worth trillions. Fuck it. You can go into the quadrillions if you want to, and into the cotillions with these accounts. So if you're wanting to expatriate, you need to really give it some thought. You may face an exit tax, and you saw how much the exit tax is to expatriate, $2,350, and then on top of that, more taxes. You know, it's crazy. Reacquiring U.S. citizenship later, very difficult. So why expatriate? Gain freedom from the U.S. taxation and reporting, align their legal status with their true identity or residence, simplify their financial life, or make a political or spiritual statement about sovereignty and control. So, my people, you know, why um, why do we need, you know, why do we need the SSA? You know, why do you need the Social Security Administration when you have business credit and a business EIN number? And you can set up everything as a business because the Social Security Administration is a business, but it's a nonprofit business. You know, so what is the SSA? Social Security Administration is a federal government agency that administers the Social Security program, which provides retirement benefits, disability insurance, survivor benefits for spouses and children, supplemental security income for low income, elderly, and disabled people. So, if day one your mother would have known about what the Social Security Administration really is, and if they would have truly asked, um, hello, oh, damn. And if they would have truly asked for her consent regarding, you know, this Social Security Administration account, and they would have fully gave her full disclosure on why she was signing up her child for a Social Security Administration SSN number, she probably would have declined. You know what I'm saying? So if the SSA has created accounts without our consent, then you do have the right to file your SSA 521. You have the right. The SSA was created in 1935 during the Great Depression under President Franklin D. Roosevelt as part of the New Deal. The goal was to protect Americans from poverty in old age or disability. But you have to remember, we, the people that were already on the land, never created a Social Security Administration because we lived off the land and we thrived off the land. So there was no need for a government to come in and help us out. The Social Security Administration was for those conquerors that were coming here to take the treasury accounts and convert everybody into laborers that were already on the land in peace and sovereignty and happiness. Okay, like I said, we had nothing to do with them. So before the SSA, most people had no safety net if they got old, sick, or couldn't work. That's a goddamn lie. Because we, the people, took care of our elderly and our own communities. We had full sovereignty over our communities. So we knew how to take care of our own sick. If someone got sick, we knew how to take care of them because we had doctors and nurses already in our communities before the colonizer came. Now, Okay, so President Franklin D. Roosevelt, as part of the New Deal, the goal was to protect Americans from poverty in old age or disability. Before the SSA, most people had no safety net if they got old, sick, or couldn't work. The ideal was to create a national insurance system. Yes, insurance for them to usurp all your labor that people pay into during working years and receive benefits from latter. So if you made $1 million and then you go into your latter years, they may only give you 2,000 on a monthly check and think that's supposed for you to survive. Okay. To get a social security number um, at birth or later. As you work, money is withheld from your paycheck, FICA taxes. So you have to go back in the system, add up all the FICA taxes they have taken out of your checks, and you can get that back by filing a 1099A, B, OID, and anything else you want to file with it. The money funds the benefits of current retirees or disabled citizens. You earn credits towards your own future benefits. You claim benefits, retirement, disability, etc. later based on your record. So your entire work history is a record within the SSA, which can be found online when you open up your SSA account. And you don't need to be elderly, old, or disabled to do that. You need to open up your SSA account now if you have a social to see how much labor is in the system and that you have created. Alternative views, you know what I'm saying? What some say about the SSA and SSN. In sovereign status correction or private trust circles, people often claim that the SSA number is like a corporate tracking number. And it is, it tracks your every move, turning you into a legal fiction or straw man. The birth certificate is monetized, turned into a bond, and the SSA number links you to a trust or financial instrument used by the government to profit off your labor. And it's the truth. Now, you could ask AI is going to tell you some bullshit. The SSA number is seen as a tool to contract you into the public commercial system without your consent. And it's true, but it is what it is. There are not mainstream legal views. These are not mainstream legal views, my people, but they're alternative legal sovereignty movement. So, my people, do you need the SSA? You do not need to accept benefits, but you can't work legally in the US without an SSN for taxes and ID. Well, if that's the case, then open your own business with an EIN number, with a trust. However you want to move, you can move in a private. You don't have to have a social security number, and you don't have to work in their system as a fucking slave. Okay, they say you can't open bank accounts. That's a damn lie. You can open up a business bank account with an EIN. And they prefer you to use your EIN when walking into a bank instead of your social. Okay, because I already walked into a bank and I was walking into the bank. I wanted to open up the business account in the social. These niggas had a fit. The head banker had a fit. It was like, no, we don't, they didn't even want to really open up the account. And then I said, okay, here's the EIN. Then everything was all great and dandy. Because if you claim the social as the business, the SSA can no longer keep the fraud going because the social is a business account for the SSA. That's why they don't want you to use the SSN opening up a bank account as a business because it's already a business through the SSA. You see, this shit is so much game, it's a goddamn shame. And I did that for a reason because I wanted to see how the game went down. I wrote up a declaration and everything and walked that shit into the bank. They was having a real hard problem with opening up that business account with a social. So my people, sometimes you have to test out the waters for yourself and see how niggas really, really act when you have mastered a part of the game and now you're trying to control that part of the game by walking in their territory and with documents notarized and authenticated that that social is a fucking business. Straight up. They already know it. The bank already knows it, but they have already signed a contract with the SEC, with the SSA, with Treasury Direct, and with Federal Reserve. So everybody is in bed together to keep you from your wealth and motherfucking prosperity. Straight up. And that's how the game is. And I saw it for myself when I went in. As soon as you say, okay, I'll use the EIN, everything changes real quick. No pushback because they have to profit off of the SSN because they're still going to ask you for the SSN, but they open up the business account in the EIN number and the SSN part of it. They're monetizing that motherfucker for themselves. And they can't have that because if you open it up as the business for yourself, they can't monetize it. The game is over. And I peeped it because I went in and I saw it. The queen walked in to the bank to do business as the social. Checkmated them motherfuckers and saw it. You should have saw the look on the head banker's face when I had to go into the office, into her private office, and sit down with her. And I had on a pair of sneakers and jeans, nigga, straight up. Because I don't have to dress up for no fucking body. Because I don't want to impress no fucking body unless I impress my fucking self. So, the bottom line is, my people, is that that social, even though it has your name on it, them niggas is monetizing that motherfucker like it's crazy. I mean, I tried to find a way to control that motherfucker straight through the bank. And they ain't trying to hear that shit. No way, no how. They have to have something to monetize. That's why they need your EIN number. The social is what always get monetized. Even if you slave labor on somebody's job, they have the social, the SSN, to monetize it. Because that's all it's there for, is to securitize, monetize, track the labor. On their side of the book ledger, it's millions. On your side of the book ledger, it's hundreds. That's it. It's fucked up, straight up. So, you know, right here we go. Okay, legal is setting. Okay, this is part of what you need to know right here. This is part of what you need to know, my people. What a birth certificate actually is. A birth certificate is a vital record issued by a government agency, usually the state or county where you were born. It records your birth, including your name, date of birth, place of birth, and your parents' names. It serves as proof of identity and citizenship, not a financial instrument. You may have heard claims like, you can use your birth certificate to access a secret government account or discharge debts. These claims are 100% false and have been debunked by courts, rejected by the US Treasury, IRS, and Federal Reserve, classified by legal authorities as part of a fraudulent scheme. Legal consequences of trying this: using a birth certificate and related documents to try and discharge debts can lead to fraud charges, court sanctions, denial of services, wasted time, and money. The FBI, IRS, and US Department of the Treasury have issued warnings about these myths, especially involving UCC filings and straw man theories. What can you do to manage or eliminate debt? If you're truly trying to gain control over debt, here are lawful and practical options: debt settlement or negotiation with creditors, bankruptcy protection, Chapter 7 or 13, consumer credit counseling services, disputing illegitimate debts via the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA, filing a legitimate UCC1 as a business owner, not as a method to discharge personal debts. All that sounds like some bullshit to me. You know, legally settling or discharging a debt. Here are legitimate tools and strategies that you can use, my people. Negotiate a settlement. Many creditors are willing to accept less than full amount owed, especially if you're behind. That's some shit that you do in the public. And that's still some bullshit because you're still using Federal Reserve notes, checks. You This is not a private transaction where you're discharging and settling the debt in the private. Then they say you can offer a lump sum payment, 40 to 60% of the debt. That's still some bullshit because you're still paying a second time for something that is already yours when you signed the fucking contract. Set up a payment plan. That's some bullshit. That's for some public shit for niggas that don't know. Challenge and valid debts. Okay, yes, we can request a debt validation with 30 days of being contacted. We can dispute the errors on the credit report. Yes, we can do that. We can debt validation letter. Yes, we can do that too. Bankruptcy is the last resort, they say. So, you know, you could have a nonprofit credit counseling. This, you know, what a UCC actually does. A UCC is the Commercial Transactions Uniform Commercial Code. It's a financing statement. It's used to secure a lien or publicly record an interest in property. So, if you are publicly recording your interest in property, that would be your mortgage, your house, your car note, um, all your property, your land, your clothing, your jewelry, your gold, your silver, whatever you have, it's all your property. And if you're putting it on a UCC, then you're making it a public record to secure. Now, you can also use it to secure your lien. So, if you have bank accounts, that's your property. But the bank really, they own their own banks. You're using their bank and you're using them as brokers and whatever else, which means that you signed your property over to the bank. That's why it's best that you open up your own private bank. A trust is a private bank, or you can open up your own private bank under your last name because that's the family legacy is the last name. Um, my people, this game is so fucking deep, okay? It's very deep. There's a lot of things that is going on that nobody is really privy to because you can think you have mastered one thing in this game and then boom, here's something else that you never even knew about, which they just create shit and keep creating shit to block you from getting your wealth and prosperity from within the system because everything is locked into a system. You see what I'm saying? So you have private agreements between you and a creditor outside of the court based on contract law and negotiated settlement, not a statutory enforcement. Sometimes includes promissory notes, private negotiable instruments, private trust structures, if other party agrees. Now, people, the bottom line to this game is either you expatriate this motherfucker or you play the game. Now, if you choose to play the game, you are going to have to play by the rules and regulations of the Uniform Commercial Code. Now, it was created, that Uniform Commercial Code, you can look it up and see when it was created, and then you can go and read the laws of it. But, the proper contract language, your private settlement must include offer, acceptance, consideration, and mutual agreement. It's only four things: offer, acceptance, valuable consideration, and mutual agreement. Both parties have to agree. So, did we ever give them consent? Was we ever given full disclosure? No. You have to ask yourself all of this, and then you have to start reading Contract Law 101. Straight up. Because everything is going with this UCC laws that they created. We didn't create this shit. Straight up. This was all their creation, so they would never have to pay you back the credits that they have borrowed from your treasury account. All everything. You know, you would have to actually take them to court. And your case, you can look up other cases of people that have taken them to court. Now, if you win the case, how long do you think that you're going to stay alive? Or family members in your family? You know, you really have to think about it. The reason why I'm saying this is because, you know, I put in certain documents and them niggas hit me from behind, smashed into the car from behind. It was a hit and run. They did it in a certain location where I would not be able to get footage. I could not get a fucking FOIA report. I tried 3 times to get a FOIA report, couldn't get it. Tried 3 times to get the footage from the bridge from where they smashed in the back of me, couldn't get it. It was intentional. I was watched. My habits were watched, and they hit me. It came out of nowhere. So these people, whoever fuck they are, you know, do. And what they don't understand is that when you mess with a chosen one, you have karma to pay no matter what. Because I survived it and I'm still the fuck here. So they can keep doing what they do. But there's a higher power that is watching over all the chosen ones. And believe me, you are already protected. We are already protected no matter what they throw at us, because it is our destiny. If we've come back here and we're at this point of going in to get a refund on our own wealth and prosperity, okay, we are the heirs to our treasury. How can you block a treasury that was never yours when you were never truly indigenous on the land? You know what I'm saying? That is the question. You know, if you were never truly indigenous on the land, how can you block and pillage? You know, now they said that's a serious and important question and deserves a grounded, honest answer. So, if someone is an indigenous to the land, how can they justify controlling it, taking from it, or enforcing authority over others on it? The question sits at the heart of colonial history, sovereignty, lawful jurisdiction, indigenous rights, moral legitimacy. Colonialism enforced. Historically, control of land was often established through conquest, war, and manipulation, not through consent or legitimacy. In the Americas, for example, indigenous peoples were forcibly displaced. Treaties were broken or signed under duress. Foreign powers declared sovereignty based on doctrines like terra nullius, land belonging to no one, even though people were living there. This was not lawful in a moral or natural sense, but it became legal through power. Might does not make right, but often writes the law books. Modern jurisdiction and legal systems. Today, nation states like the US exercise authority based on constitutions, courts, administrative bodies, de facto, in practice rather than de jure by rightful law control. If you're not part of the dominant legal framework, you're seen as an outside, even if you're indigenous or have a different ancestral claim. The problem of consent, your right to question. We're right to question the problem of consent, my people. How can someone rule over others without legitimate claim or consent? That's the foundation of true sovereignty, people or collective. But claiming sovereignty isn't enough. It must be recognized, enforced, or defended. Or it must be private, self contained, and lawful, non adversarial. Path forward, lawful reclaiming versus reaction. If you or your people feel displaced, defrauded, or dominated, there are lawful, peaceful paths: land trusts, PMAs, sovereign enclaves, treaty enforcement, hard but possible. There are also unlawful traps, aggressive filings, paper terrorism, false claims, or weaponizing myths with backfire legally. The question isn't just legal, it's spiritual, ancestral, and political. Who gave you the right to rule over something you never created or belonged to? And that's valid. So, my people, you know, I don't know what to tell y'all, but this is getting, it's out of hand right now. It's way out of hand because, you know, you're going to have to be in good breathing quality areas where you can smell the oxygen in the air that comes from the trees, because the trees basically here are here to give off oxygen. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to breathe and smell the pure oxygen in the air. And if you're in areas, especially city areas, you're not going to smell the oxygen in the air. You need to be outside of the cities, and you need to get into some areas that have a lot of trees, a lot of forests, a lot of lakes, rivers, you know what I'm saying? Beaches. So, my people, I've given you free time today as I normally do because you have to give back, and that's the time that I can give back because, you know, it says it right here. You have to enforce. So if you have your own court and state set up, you need to be using it, working out of it, and you need to enforce it. You need to be sending out all your paperwork through your court in your state. If it's dealing with traffic tickets and, you know, shit against the law. Um, the bottom line is, my people, really, if you don't have big guns, how are you going to deal with them? I mean, yes, we can call on our ancestors, we can put the force fields around us and everything. But if you look back and read in your history, they had an incident in Brooklyn against the Hasidic Jews and a black man. And for like, I think it was a week or something, they had war out in Brooklyn where, you know, they had car fire bombs, all types of shit for a black man, I think, sleeping with some Hasidic Jew woman. And the Jews wasn't hearing that shit, and they had a fight. It was a war for like a week in Brooklyn, right in that area in Brooklyn, over there by Nostrand Avenue. So that was a sign right there when all people of color, indigenous people, were supposed to rise up then, and shit didn't happen. You only had a few that was out there fighting with some Hasidic Jews, and you know, you can't, you, it's a lot behind that, my people. But the bottom line is that you have to wake up on your own, and when you do wake up on your own, you just might be on your own, because that's the bottom line. You're not going to have help from none of the people that are saying they're conscious in the community. They're not going to help you because they can't help you. They put them own selves in danger, straight up. So you got all these people sitting up here on YouTube giving you good game, but the bottom line is, good game and the end game is that if you need their help, they're not going to be able to help you. One, you're not linked into a community with them. Two, you don't have a treaty with none of these gurus, because if you had a treaty, the reason why the 50 states are united against the people is because they had treaties together. All these foreigners that come here and that have conquered and who are called themselves conquerors of indigenous people, they all have treaties with each other. So 50 states have a treaty. You are nothing but a labor worker and a slave and a piece of property within their treaty, unless you go and create your own court and state. And basically, even with your own court and state within this shit that we're in, it helps you to a certain extent. But the bottom line is that you have to expatriate this bitch, and you're going to have to get the money to do it, because Are you signing treaties with the United Nations? Are you signing treaties with the 50 other states here? Do you have with Morocco? If you don't have a treaty with none of these other motherfuckers, but you go under a treaty of the United States, it says to the people, other rights are given, you know, and then the Declaration of Independence that says that when shit just gets haywire, you have the right to create your own state, your own court, yada. You have that right. So when you have that right to create all your own court and state, they have the right to wage war against you because now you're a state and to them you're foreign. So, um, it's up to you how you gonna rule your game. Yeah, you can do it under trust. Trust is the most highest way to go because that's one trust to another trust. But you still can be infiltrated as a trust because the trust is foreign to their shit. You see, they want complete domination over everything. That is how the conqueror is. That is how a masculine mentality is anyway from jump. They want to conquer everything. Even if the woman steps out of line, she's going to be beat back into submission because they show you in the movies, in their own movies, how they will beat a woman into submission. They'll throw them into some old fucked up jail cell or whatever, how they do it. However, they do it because that's a masculine alpha male rule. They have to have dominion over everything. When in reality, everything is peaceful. Earth is a female planet and it's a sixth planet. Okay, straight up. So that is some true shit that you can look up for yourself. So women will have to rise back up and they are just going to try to keep a woman's energy down because women have the power to activate male and female within them at the same fucking time. This is what an alpha male fears is that a woman activates the cells within the membrane of the entire nervous system where you can trans fucking form at any given moment just by the thought of your word within your own core of being. So when it comes to that, that is what the alpha male really fears. This is why they need an army to blow your ass away, especially if you are a indigenous woman, because indigenous women don't even know the power that we have. Straight up. You think it's just a fucking hair weave and some fucking nails. And you think that your twat can get anything. Yes, that can get anything. Fuck the weave and fuck the nails because at this point in the game, you might not be able to get a hair weave and nails for what the fuck is about to go down and coming up on this planet. Straight up. No, we don't want war like that. But the only way to have peace on this planet is to have war. And that's why they have us in perpetual war. The only way to control a planet is to keep it in a war state. So I don't know y'all people, but personally, you're gonna have to wake up and you're gonna have to wake up to something that's higher than your fucking self. Hi, peace to all my people in the private chat. Peace to Valerie. Peace to Keaton. Peace. Peace to Daniel. What's up? I'm kicking a woolly bow right now because you know, it is crazy. You know, this shit is wild, son. You gotta really know what's going on. You really do. Because if you don't know what's going on, you are gonna forever be railroaded. And the railroad is something that, you don't even want to deal with no more. You just really want to be at peace, and you want to be on your land. You want to be with your families. You want to be raising your children. You know, that's why the Mormons just get the fuck out. They expatriate totally. Um, you got the Hasidic Jews. They're not a part of the system. They're bankers, yada, yada. It's just the people that don't know. And a lot of us never knew. We thought that, shit, we've been raised by a fucking rap culture. We've been raised by a Melly Mel rap culture. You know what I'm saying? Don't push me. I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like that, my people. It's shit like that, my people. If y'all not tuning in to shit like that, I don't know what to tell you. Even those rappers that were conscious rappers, boom. You know, Melly Mel was the only one that won a fucking Grammy for a conscious rap like that. Nowhere today would you ever be able to win an award for a conscious rap. And I got some conscious ass shit. Shit. I am queen of fucking consciousness, straight the fuck up. You can check out some of my fucking music, culture, consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Um, my people. I gave you a mouthful of information. The information don't get no better than that. I mean, you got so many gurus out here, and then what really ticks me off is that all of the gurus that are males, they talk about all of this, but you don't see none of those guru males uniting, signing treaties with each other to protect the land, the children, and the women. I don't see. They protect their own if they're even that conscious to protect their own. You know what I'm saying? So everything right now is questionable, straight up. You see how they pushing everybody into sections where they want you to live in a section. They put Target, Walmart, and other stores that will be in sections now. So you buy a certain food, the food is tainted for the community. It's made just for that community. So if you eat it, you may lose your mind, you may lose your memory, the water. You don't know what's being put in your motherfucking water. You don't know what's being put in your motherfucking food. You don't know if you're eating rat. Straight up. That's the fucked up shit that's going down right now in our and on our indigenous land that we are allowing as indigenous people. So I don't know what to tell you, but it looks like to me the most conscious, really conscious people on the land are foreigners, the Hasidics, the Mormons, and a couple of other cultures, because they actually own and control every fucking thing they do, and you can't come back at them with nothing. Because They don't claim, it's just wild. So you got a lot of females on the planet right now that are highly awoke, you know, working on superpowers, working on, trying to take it back. That is why they infiltrate your communities, they infiltrate your meetings. YouTube is nothing but a motherfucking infiltrator, listening to everything that you say, yada, straight up. So anybody that is conscious and that disappears, you already know they either have been taken out because they speak up for themselves, and it's something that you have to do because freedom of speech is in the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has the right to freedom of speech. So you see how they're usurping your rights every fucking day. And nobody's saying nothing, nobody's standing up. They just go and clock that fucking clock because that's what they got you to believe. You know what I'm saying? So you could keep clocking the clock, you can keep picking up the slave wage. That's how you know you gotta pay your mortgage, yada. I feel you because everybody's fucking doing it. But it's gonna come to a point where niggas is gonna just walk off their jobs because it don't fucking matter. Because if you tune in to a whole nother frequency, and the frequency is only found within you, you will see that you are gonna start to sing another fucking tune, and it's not gonna be their fucked up tune because they really got people fucked up in this game. They got you thinking a whole nother way. They got you begging. You don't have to beg for a goddamn thing. When you were the controller and the owner of it from the jump, I mean, what the fuck are you begging for? That shit is crazy. That they got grown men that are supposed to be the watchers of the fucking planet. They got these niggas straight up. They got these niggas begging, and then they got all of them, half of, I mean, most of the population of the warriors are locked the fuck up. They can't do nothing because they locked up. And half of them that are locked up, they don't have a manhood no more. So what the fuck? So you wonder why women got to stand up and be men over their own children. Women have to act like the man and the woman to raise a fucking child now because most of the men are locked the fuck up. And then you got men trying to come in and help a woman raise children and they fucking their children. You know what I'm saying? They raping their children. You leave your children in the hands of somebody else and they sitting up there fucking sodomizing your children, raping them, doing all types of fucked up shit to them. So tell me if the colonizer has not, set up systems to destroy fucking families. Straight up. And that's real talk. And it's really nothing you can do about it now because everybody has a sickness within them on the planet. And it's coming straight from these colonizers. These motherfuckers, these colonizers, you can see it. They were sleeping with animals, all types of fucked up shit that they were doing in their own fucked up countries. They brought here to our country that we allowed them into to give them refuge from being colonized in there where they were. So they come here with the same stupid shit. So, it's really our fault for allowing this shit to go on and to wake up, after a long ass fucking sleep that they had. I don't know what they pump in the air, but you could wake up the next day and act like none of this shit ever happened. And you're like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got niggas on drugs, you got niggas hitting the bottle, You got niggas hitting, the marijuana leaf, and that shit only puts you back to fucking sleep, and you end up eating all day. You ain't picking up nothing to fucking protect yourself. Marijuana, it's a healer, but then what a lot of people are using it for is to escape. You can't escape this place. You have to stand up and face what the fuck it has become. You have let a colonizer come in and take over. And that's really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you got Moors that are dirty Moors. I don't believe in none of that Moorish shit. I mean, they got some good history. They'll tell you the history, but even they will fuck you over because that's what the fuck they do. You know, you tell me one good motherfucker that will actually fucking help your ass. They'll give you some motherfucking info, but then the info can end up fucking your ass up in the long run. So, my people that are really trying to set themselves free from a place that is really fucked up. This is supposed to be heaven on earth. Well, I'm going to say it's heaven on earth for me. The only way to change it is to rethink it, reshape it, redo it, remake it. Rethink this bitch in a whole nother light because these people are really, really, really on some next level shit. And it really doesn't matter who hears this or not because the bottom line is that you too will come to think when you really start researching all of this and then you start listening to other gurus and hearing all this shit they talk about and then you start to navigate and enforce a lot of the stuff that you're studying and you start navigating and enforcing your paperwork and standing on it, you'll see. You will see a lot of shit that will go on around you that is like out of the ordinary, but that is what it is. And then you could get on the phone with other people and talk about it. They can't help you. Cannot help you. I'm telling you. Because for them to even help you, the phone is already being tapped. Straight up. Your phones are already being tapped when you are doing this process. They will delay your shit and delay you in hopes that you just get tired, wear you down, yada. You got a lot of people that have been doing this process for a long fucking time. A long time. A lot of people been doing this process. Some people still haven't gotten a fucking tax return out of them. But you have to learn how to rack up tax credits, and then you're gonna have to learn how to draw down your own tax credits because the tax credits is the prepaid account. Straight up. The tax credits is the prepaid account, my people. So when you understand that your tax credits is the prepaid account, it's not all of that other shit. The Federal Reserve, they gotta distract you. Like when you first come into this process, it's a lot of shit that these gurus tell you. But the bottom line is all you have to do is set up your business, set up your trust, and go from there. Start stacking your tax credits, you know, do your little status correction on how you want to do it. And then you can go in and start doing what you need to do. Because the bottom line is that if you when you open up your IRS account, what the fuck does it say? It says individual. It doesn't say group account. There is no group. in a tax refund. Now, there could be a spouse tax refund, but there is no group tax refund. There is no group account. There is a individual account and a spouse account that may be attached to you. So, children you claim straight up. So, people, you out on the land right now, you got to laugh at all of it because when you get to that extent where you have signed the Declaration of Independence and you got your copy signed and you sent it into the fucking SSA, letting them know that you signed the Declaration of Independence. You know, these niggas can't really be messing with you like that because they're pushing you to the point to try to make you expatriate. But you don't really want to expatriate until you get everything out of the system. How are you going to expatriate and pay them 2,300 $2,350 to expatriate in front of the council, and then on top of it you got to pay anywhere from 2,000 to 20,000 for the rest of the process? That shit is insane. These niggas renationalized you into some fake ass state, and then you wake up and find out the truth. Now, to expatriate, you got to pay all of this money. Tell me if that is not fraud. These niggas is making money off of people hand over fist. They poison everything that you eat, drink, breathe, and now they want you to pay all that money to expatriate. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. This is, I don't even think it's Babylon. This is just straight up demonic. You know, what demon? Was it Willie Lynch? Because there were the Willie Lynch papers, but that was how to make a slave. So where did the rest of this shit come from? Where did it take it making a birth certificate, renationalizing people into into their little fake ass state shit, and then you got 50 states that all sign treaties together. You know what I'm saying? So if you go over the states and you look at the treaties that were signed and who signed the treaties, you can sign the Constitution Treaty. All you got to do is go congressional records, download it, order a copy, go sign it and notarize it in front of the fucking notary, and put that in every court document that you sign, that you got to send out, that you are a signer of the fucking Constitution, and that they have, it's just a lot of stuff that you can do, and then you got shit that they'll play games with you as if they never got paperwork or it gets lost. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So you got a system that already knows that you have the power to do what you're doing, but they don't want to let go of the reign because it's too much money. It's just too much like right. So being that they never want to let go, then let them keep holding on. Let them continuously recoup the karma that by not letting go, they recoup the karma. So let them keep catching cancer, all types of fucked up skin diseases, all types of crazy shit. You know, it's like if you're in the home healthcare industry, You can walk in some of those people's houses and you already know as a caregiver, and if you're studying, you know, a lot of past life and yada yada, you already know that the sickness that they have when you have to go in and tend to them, yada, you already know it's either somebody in their family did this fucked up shit or they themselves did it. Because in all actuality, you don't supposed to be getting sick from nothing if you are living a Saturnian life that is structured by law and order. And it's not, creating some bullshit out of thin air that pillages people and fleeces the people. Mm. So, you've heard it first here from the United States private enterprise free state. We don't hold back, my people. We giving it to you blow by blow, straight up, because this system is for people that are unaware. And that's how they want to keep you, in an unaware state. So, if you are unaware and you like being unaware, then great. Stay in your unaware state. But you shouldn't block those around you that have mentally gone into another level of higher thinking, broke the barriers within their mind, broke the fog, passed through the fog, dissolved the veil, and now they can see. They can see a lie quickly. They know when somebody's lying to them immediately. So, I don't know what to say to you, but you are not one of those that can be fooled anymore. You are in the world of the living. We are not a part of the dead. The dead don't have a voice, and the voice they acquiesce. So, a lot of people have acquiesced for a long time, years, ages of acquiesce. Now, Hollywood will show you movies of only them and their culture and their history of how they came to the Americas and why they came to the Americas. They show you it in all their movies. It's only sometimes that an indigenous person may be the victor in their movie. And if they are the victor somewhere along the line, they are a sacrifice. They will be killed. Some chick just got killed at 33, a white chick from Walking Dead. She was sacrificed. Her age was 33. So, if you live to be 50, you've made it at least half of your fucking life. And I hope you woke the fuck up and collected some money out of the motherfucking IRS. If not, you better fucking wake the fuck up now and start collecting your money, because you may think you are a pauper, but you're not. You are simply wealthy beyond your imaginable dream. Straight up. But you would have to research it, then wear it. Put on them big boy fucking golden shoes, big girl golden shoes, and start climbing up your fucking ladder to get the golden egg. Straight up. Be the jack. Okay? They did it. They found their golden eggs. It was like the Americas is where all the golden eggs are. Let's go there. We can enslave people over there like they enslaved us. And that's what they do. And they do it really well. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So, until you wake up, you will forever sleep. Some people like sleep. Some people are not meant to wake up. Maybe not now, but when they do wake up, they will remember people like the United States Private Enterprise Free State dropping mad science and telling you what you need to do. So, are you going to expatriate? Are you going to SSA 521? Your documents in, shut the accounts down, and let them have everything? Or are you going to enforce your paperwork and stand on it and defend it? So, defend is meaning that you're warring with them. When you stand on your paperwork and you defend it, you're at war with them. So, I don't know. But I know that I got a legion of motherfucking demons. I got a legion of guardian angels, zillions of them. So, and I know that I'm standing on Saturn. And Saturn, she don't fucking play. She will spank your ass every fucking day when you are consciously on a path and you still do wrong. So, fuck that. And Father Mars will do the same fucking thing. And these are spirits that you can't even see because they sit up in an illusionary sky. So I don't know what to tell y'all, but y'all need to get right with your Oishas. Y'all need to get right with whoever your guardian angels are. You need to get right with the system. Straight up, you just need to get right and stop the bullshit. Shit. Straight up. When you start putting down all of your bad habits, you're going to see something that you've never seen within your own self. That part. It's about self discovery. That's all it's about. It's about self discovery. If you can discover your own self and you see all your flaws while you're going through this process, boom, there you go. Boom, there you go. You know what I'm saying? You done bust through another brick. You done bust through another portal within your own mind. That's what's going to help you to blaze through and get the refund straight up. Because you're going to have to let go of the layers of shit that you've been carrying that don't make sense. Straight up. None of it makes sense. When you start really sitting down and doing your shadow work, none of this shit makes sense because you let somebody else tell you some bullshit that never made sense. It wasn't even into the coordination of your life path. It was a distraction to keep you off the path so you would never collect your wealth and prosperity out of the system. Straight up. So, this is the United States private enterprise free state in on the check on. Okay? If you need to contact us for consultations, 407 300 5377. We gave you a 369 ritual. You got to go back and listen to the text live like 3 or 4 days ago. We gave you a 369 ritual, and that shit is real deal holy feel. Straight up, knocking niggas out like Ali. Shit, even Ali went and got a new fucking name. Okay? Shit. Ali is also under um Moors or Islamic. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you want to be any of that, it's based on your own research, what you choose to be. But you see what I'm saying? Islam took Cassius Clay and turned him into an Ali and profited off of his motherfucking SSA, SSN. Okay? So, how fucking awake was Muhammad Ali? Because he was getting ripped the fuck off. Yeah, everybody is getting ripped off until they start to be their own fucking accountant and do their own fucking books and understand what's really going on. So, on that note, my people, stay up, stay strong, and I'm out.